Hello friends, in this video we will discuss some of the important MCQs curated as per the demand of the UPSC. Okay, so our first question is, consider the following statement regarding the graphene. So what is it? Graphene का use क्या होता है उसके बारे में statement है. The first statement is that the graphene does not absorb or dissipate the electromagnetic waves. Second statement is that graphene is the highly sensitive to the environmental change and which make it an excellent candidate for sensing the chemical and the biological agent. The third statement is that US and Japan are the global leader in the commercial production of the graphene. Now, which one is the correct option? So, the answer of this question is A, means only one statement is करेक्ट. ठीक, नाउ अब बात करते हैं दैट विच स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट. द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट लिखा हुआ है दैट ग्रेफीन डज नॉट एब्जॉर्ब और डिसिपेट द इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक वेव्स. नाउ दिस स्टेटमेंट इज इनकरेक्ट बिकॉज द ग्रेफीन हैज़ द पोटेंशियल टू एब्जॉर्ब और डिसिपेट द इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक वेव्स and this valuable property help in making of the a lot of materials. Okay, next is, so this statement is incorrect. Next statement is the graphene is the highly sensitive to the environmental change which makes it an excellent candidate for sensing the chemical and the biological agent. Now this is correct. Now graphene क्या है? It is actually very sensitive for the environmental change. ठीक है, and that make it an excellent candidate for sensing the chemical and the biological agents. या कोई भी explosive है, radiation है, if there is any hazardous substance. So basically the thing is कि अगर कहीं पर graphene रखा हुआ है, ठीक, so with the help of the graphene we can identify कि अगर उस एटमॉस्फेयर में कोई भी केमिकल या कोई भी हैज़ार्डियस चेंज हुआ है, सपोज़ वहाँ पर कोई एक केमिकल रेडिएशन इंटर किया हुआ है, ठीक, सो there will be change in the graphene. So with the change in the graphene we can identify that there's some biological or chemical radiation is present. The third statement is the US and the Japan are the global leader in the commercial production of the graphene. Now this statement is again incorrect because if we talk about the global production of the graphene, so in the global production the China and Brazil, okay, the China and the Brazil, these are the two countries that are leading in the production of the commercial production of the graphene. Okay, so the third statement is also incorrect, so A will be the correct option. Moving forward, consider this statement. The first statement is the weight of an aircraft does not have any impact on the takeoff or the landing speed. The second statement is the maximum weight an aircraft can carry is impacted by the length of the runway. Now the answer of the question is the B. Okay, now why it is B? The first statement is that the weight of an aircraft does not have any impact on the takeoff. Obviously it has, जितना ज़्यादा उसका weight होगा वो उसके impact को, उसके landing को, takeoff को क्या करेगा, affect करेगा. So the first statement is incorrect, but the second statement is correct. The maximum weight of an aircraft carry is impacted by the length of the रनवे. जो रनवे का जो लेंथ होगा, सो दैट द लेंथ ऑफ द रनवे विल ऑल्सो डिफाइन द टेक ऑफ द रनवे. ओके, और अगर रनवे, इफ़ द रनवे इज़ वेट और देर इज़ ग्रास इन द रनवे, ऑन द रनवे, तो ये सारी भी चीज़ें क्या होंगी, उसके टेक ऑफ को हैम्पर करेंगी और डिफाइन करेंगे समहाउ. द मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, the next question is the dispute over the sharing of the water from the Helmand River is between. So in the previous video I told you there's a dispute going on between the two countries and the river passed from the one country to other country. Now what is the answer of this question? The answer is the Iran and Afghanistan. I told you that Helmand River, it moves from the Afghanistan and enters into Iran. Okay, so अफ़गानिस्तान ने क्या किया हुआ है, बेसिकली अफ़गानिस्तान इज़ ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिंग द फ्लो ऑफ द रिवर. सो दिस बिकम अ बोन ऑफ कंटेंशन बिटवीन द ईरान एंड अफ़गानिस्तान. नाउ मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, question number 4 is India's existing strategic oil facilities are made up of the excavated rock caverns are located at. Okay, so the answer of the question पहले पढ़ते हैं. So the options are the Mangalore in the Karnataka and Padur in the Telangana and Vishakhapatnam in the Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so the answer of this question is B, means only 2 options are correct. Take now first we talk about what is the strategic oil storage facility. Now to store the oil we have some place there. Okay, ये places क्या होते हैं जहाँ पर हम क्या करते हैं, we have the oil in stock कि अगर कहीं कभी कोई war चल रही है like Ukraine Russia war or whatever, if there is an emergency, so we can utilize that stored oil that we have created, and the name of these stored oil is the strategic oil storage facility. Okay, now in India, if we talk about that, there are basically 3 strategic oil reserve facilities. Okay, the first one is the Mangalore in the Karnataka, this is correct. The second one is the Padur, but it is not in the Telangana, actually it is in the Karnataka, and the third is the Vishakhapatnam, it is in the Andhra Pradesh. So the option first and third is correct, so B will be the correct option. Moving forward, consider the following statement regarding the nota provision in the EVM in India. So आपको पता है that nota का provision है EVM में none of the above. So if you don't want to select any candidate, you can just select the nota. So the first statement is it was introduced according to the directions of the Election Commission of India. Second statement is the nota options enable the electorals to exercise the right to reject without violation of the secrecy of their decision. The third statement is the right to say none of the above constitute a basic right of the voter. Okay, so if we talk about the answer of this question, so the correct answer is B, means only the 2 statements are correct. Now which one is the incorrect statement? So here the incorrect statement is the first one. Why? Because the introduction of the nota is not happened because of the Election Commission of India, rather than it was implanted with the direction of the Supreme Court. So in the year of 2013, Supreme Court gave the landmark judgment, and in that judgment the Supreme Court said that to introduce the nota, that is the none of the above, and he also said that saying no, that is none of the above, it is the basic right of the voter. Okay, and this option would foster the purity and the vibrancy of the election. Purity and vibrancy of election. Okay, and this is the part of the fundamental right. So okay, under Article 19. So this you should know. EVM is electronic voting machine. Now the next question is regarding the artificial neural network. Okay, now the first statement is the artificial neural network are computing system inspired by the biological neural network that constitute the animal brain. The next statement is they allow the computer's programs to recognize the patterns and solve the problems with the machine learning. The third statement is in India, the RBI is the only bank which developed in-house artificial neural network model. Okay, so which one is the correct statement? So here only B is the correct statement, means 2 statements जो हैं इनमें से are correct. Okay, now which one is the incorrect statement then? So the incorrect statement is that this third one is the incorrect, and here you could also see this term is only bank. ठीक, बट अगर हम बात करें सो SBI जो है, SBI ने भी इसको इंक्लूड किया हुआ है, सो दैट्स वाई द स्टेटमेंट बिकम इनकरेक्ट. Moving forward, again question on the graphene. Okay, so the question is when graphene is added in a small quantity in other material, it produces the composite material which transforms the quality. Okay, the second statement is the graphene composites are used in the aerospace, automotives, and the sports equipment. Third statement is that graphene based sensors are used for the environmental monitoring, healthcare, and wearable devices. Now, which one is the correct option? So C is the correct option, means all the statements are correct. The first statement is saying that if we add the graphene, okay, in a small quantity in another material, it will change the composition of or transform the quality of that material. Obviously, if you take any material and if you make a blend of two material, so definitely some sort of new quality will be there. The second statement is saying that we can use it in the aerospace, automotives, or sports equipment. As I told you that graphene has very much use, okay, and it has a change in property, and it has some sort of radioactive or environmental indicative substance. ठीक, ये क्या है? It is an environmental indicative substance, means if any radiation, any sort of fields, magnetic field, electromagnetic field come in the near about of the graphene, so graphene, the property of graphene will going to be changed. So that's why it could be also used in the aerospace, automobiles, and the sports equipment. And the last is, it is based on the sensor, it is used for the environmental monitoring, as I told you. So all the statements here are correct. Moving forward, consider the following statement regarding the western disturbance. The first statement is that western disturbance are the east moving rain-bearing winds system that originated beyond the Afghanistan, Iran, and pick up the moisture from the Mediterranean Sea and even the Atlantic Oceans. Okay. The next statement is, these are the example of the extratropical cyclones. The third statement is that they are the results of the very high pressure areas formed due to the interactions between the polar and the tropical wind. Now, which one is the correct option? So these are the option, means pair 1, pair 2, or pair 3. Now if we talk about the answer, so only 2 pairs are correct. Okay, so B will be the correct options, only 2 pair is correct. Now which 2 pairs are correct? So the first is correct because it is saying that western disturbance, it is an eastern moving rain bearing wind. As you know that western disturbance means, here is the Mediterranean Sea, or for more clarity I should show you the map. Now western disturbance क्या होता है basically? Now here is the Mediterranean Sea. Here is the Mediterranean Sea, and from this Mediterranean Sea the winds blows like that. Okay, so for India, here's the India. So for India, these rains, these winds are coming from the west. So that's why we called these winds as the west, and these winds bring India the retreating monsoon. Okay, I hope you got some clarity over there. Okay, so these are they came from the Mediterranean Sea, and even the Atlantic Oceans. The next statement is, they are the extratropical cyclone. Obviously because they are above the tropics. What is the tropic? 0 degree, 30 degree. So 23.5. Take 23.5. So above the 23.5 or above the 30, so the tropic starts. They are extratropical cyclones. Okay. The third statement is that they are results of the very high pressure areas formed due to the interaction between the polar and the tropical winds. So this is correct that they are the interaction between the polar and the tropical winds, because here is the pole, so pole से और यहाँ से, here is the Mediterranean Sea, so this is correct कि they are the interaction between the tropical and the polar winds. But the thing is कि they are not very high pressure. Okay, they are not very high pressure winds, but they are the low pressure wind. Okay, so here's the problem. They are not the high pressure wind, they are the low pressure wind. So this third will be the incorrect option. Now moving forward. Now okay, now the question 4 is saying sometimes back the National Human Rights Commission issued an advisory to the union and the state government to minimize the impact of the occurral trauma. Now what is the occurral trauma? So the term is talking about the occurral trauma. So basically the occurral trauma, it is related to the eyes. Okay, so basically the thing is if you have any sort of injury in eyes, so this comes basically, or this is known as the occurral trauma. Okay, so this is a direct question on the disease. What is the occurral trauma? The next question is the agricultural land are generally left as fallow land, and this is done to which of the following reasons? Now as you know that to after the harvesting season, sometimes we left the land just like that. So this leftover land is known as the fallow land. Okay, now the question is asking why we left the land just like that. So the answer of this question is D. Soil gets time to recoup its natural fertility, because as you sow the crop again and again, so at that moment, at that time, the land even itself not get the time to regenerate its fertility. Okay, so to give it some time so that it could recoup, we left the land just like that, and this leftover land is known as the fallow land. Okay, so D is the correct option. Moving forward, which of the following is close to the direct democracy? Now in India we have the indirect democracy. Now the question is talking about the direct democracy. Now the option says the decision taken by the Gram Sabha. Okay, the next statement is the decisions taken by the Legislative Assembly of the state. The third statement is the decisions taken by the board of the directors of the corporations. Okay, so the correct option of this question 1 is A. Means only one statement is correct. Now which statement is correct? So the correct statement is the statement number 1, Gram Sabha. As you know that in case of the Gram Sabha, the members of the Gram Sabha are directly elected. Okay, means they are the members elected among themselves, उन्हीं में से. So they are the direct democracy. उस रूट लेवल पे जो डेमोक्रेसी होती है, it is the direct democracy. Rest is the indirect democracy, because in the legislative assembly there we elect our representative. So this is the difference between the direct democracy or indirect democracy. In the direct democracy we directly elect the representative, ठीक है, एंड और उसी के बीच से ही होता, बट इन द इनडायरेक्ट वन दे आर द रिप्रेजेंटेटिव देयर. सो as the member of parliament, or whether it is the member of parliament or the legislative assembly. Okay, so in both the cases it is indirect one. So direct democracy कहाँ पे होती है? At the grassroots level of the Gram Sabha. So the A is the correct option. Moving forward, Article 142 of the Indian Constitution is sometimes seen in news, is related to which one of the following? So the correct option of this question is the measure to take by the Supreme Court to do the complete justice. Now under Article 142, Supreme Court can take any decision, or Supreme Court can give any judgment to just do the complete justice. मतलब वो किसी भी कोई भी मैटर जो है उसमें मेडल कर सकता है to do the complete justice. Now for your more clarification, I could show you the Article 142. Now here is the Article 142. Now what this article is saying, the enforcement or the decree of the order of the Supreme Court or order as to its discovery. Tick means the Supreme Court in the exercise of jurisdictions may pass any decree such decree or to make such an order as it necessary for doing the complete justice। यानी कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट को लगता है कि अगर उसे एक ऑर्डर पास करना है और ये ऑर्डर किसी एक मैटर में कंप्लीट जस्टिस करेगा, सो सुप्रीम कोर्ट कैन जस्ट डू दैट थिंग। एनी कॉज और any matter pending before it or any decree passed or order so made shall enforceable throughout the territory of India। और ये जो ऑर्डर होगा या कोई भी डिक्री होगी वो it will be enforceable throughout the India in such a manner as may be prescribed by or under the law by the parliament until provision in that behalf so made such matter as the president में ऑर्डर में prescribed। ठीक है, सो ये क्या है, दूसरा ही पढ़ लेते हैं इसको। द सब्जेक्ट टू द प्रोविजन ऑफ एनी लॉ made on this behalf by the parliament or the supreme court shall as respect the whole territory of the India shall have all and every power to make any order for the purpose of the securing the attendance of any person, discovery, production or any document, investigation, punishment of any contempt of itself। कहने का मतलब क्या है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट कोई भी लॉ बना सकता है किसी भी मैटर में कंप्लीट जस्टिस करने के लिए, चाहे वो मैटर उस टाइम चल रहा हो नहीं चल रहा हो, या सुप्रीम कोर्ट खुद से सेल्फ स्यूमोटो रिकग्निशन लेके भी उसको काम कर सकता है। एंड फॉर दैट पर्पज़ वो बेसिकली बाइंड कर सकता है किसी भी इंसान को, ठीक है, फॉर द पर्पज़ ऑफ सिक्योरिंग द अटेंडेंस ऑफ एनी पर्सन, डिस्कवरी ऑफ द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ एनी डॉक्यूमेंट, उसको भी कर सकता है कि कोई डॉक्यूमेंट वहाँ प्रस्तुत किया जाए, और इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया किसी मैटर में या पनिशमेंट कुछ भी कर सकता है। एंड ऑल्सो इट कैन इशू द नोटिस रिगार्डिंग द कंटेम्प्ट ऑफ इट सेल्फ। सो दिस यू शुड नो। ठीक, तो दिस ये क्या बता रहा है, दिस इज टेलिंग अबाउट द आर्टिकल 142। सो द करेक्ट ऑप्शन इज ऑप्शन बी। नाउ मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, consider the following statement about the double jeopardy। now what is the double jeopardy देखते हैं पहले। so first statement is it means that no person shall be prosecuted or punished for the same offense more than once। okay, the constitution barred the double punishment for the same offenses। okay, a partial protection against the double jeopardy is the fundamental right। okay, so which one is the correct answer? So the correct answer of the question number 3 is the C, means all the statements are correct। now under the article 22, okay, what article 20 says? article 20 says the protection of the protection against the conviction for the offenses। so कहने का मतलब क्या है कि if you have committed an offense, so the meaning of the double jeopardy means you're going to have the punishment for the ऑफेंस यू हैव कमिटेड ओनली वंस। ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आपने एक बार पनिशमेंट लेके चले आए और उसके बाद जेल में 10 साल जेल काटा, उसके बाद फिर किसी ने कहा कि नहीं आपने तो मर्डर किया था, आपको दोबारा जेल होगी। सो दिस कैन नॉट बी हैपन। ठीक है, सो द पनिशमेंट गिवन टू यू विल बी अवॉर्डेड ओनली फॉर वन टाइम। तो इसी को बोलते हैं क्या, डबल jeopardy। नाउ प्लीज़ पे अटेंशन हियर दैट let's say if you are working in a department, ठीक है, डिपार्टमेंट लेट्स से आप ईडी के डिपार्टमेंट में काम कर रहे हो, इन्फोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट के डिपार्टमेंट में काम कर रहे हो, एंड यू हैव डन समथिंग रॉन्ग देयर, एंड आफ्टर दैट द इंक्वायरी हैपन एंड you got a jail term of 2 years, for example। okay, now after that you came back and you joined the service, but the thing is, so this 2-year punishment is the result of whatever mishap you have done in the department। so आपको ये punishment मिल गई, पर इसके अलावा भी if the department want, he can initiate any inquiry against you, and this inquiry will be totally separated from the punishment you have got in this matter। so basically departmental inquiry आपके अगेंस्ट चल सकती है whether or not आपको पनिशमेंट मिली है, तो ये जो डिपार्टमेंट इंक्वायरी है दिस विल नॉट कम अंडर द डबल jeopardy। सो दिस यू शुड नो। ओके, ऐसा नहीं कि यहाँ भी मिल गई अब यहाँ क्यों मिल रही है, नहीं, डिपार्टमेंटल इंक्वायरी कैन बी इनिशिएटेड अगेंस्ट यू, देयर इज नो बार अगेंस्ट इट। सो क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 is the beginning of the parliamentary system in India can be tracked back to the Indian Council of the 1861। okay, The Charter Act of the 1833 recommended for the appointment of the Macaulay Committee on the Indian Civil Services, and the Charter Act of the 1833 deprived the governor of the Bombay and Madras legislature, ठीक, and the governor of general was given the exclusive power for the entire British India. ठीक है, तो इसमें से पूछा है कि कौन सा स्टेटमेंट जो है, कौन सा जो आंसर है वो करेक्ट होगा. ठीक, तो इसका जो करेक्ट ऑप्शन हो जाएगा वो हो जाएगा ए, दैट इज़ ओनली वन स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट. कौन सा करेक्ट है देखते हैं. पहला लिखा हुआ है द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट इज दैट the beginning of the parliamentary system in India can be traced to the Indian Council Act of the 1861. Actually, it is not 1861. It is the Charter Act of the 1853. Okay, so hence the first statement is incorrect. The second statement is saying that the Charter Act of the 1833 recommended for the appointment of the Macaulay Committee on the Indian Services. Okay, now it is not the Charter Act of the 1833, rather than it is the 1853, ठीक, that recommended the appointment of the Macaulay Committee on the Indian Civil Services. So from here the second statement is also incorrect, so third is only the correct statement. Now moving on the question number 5, it is talking about the governor. Okay, now गवर्नर के बारे में द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट इज हिज ऑफिस इज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनली अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ द सबऑर्डिनेट टू द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, सॉरी टू द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. सेकंड स्टेटमेंट इज दैट द गवर्नर ऑफ द पर्टिकुलर स्टेट शुड नॉट बिलोंग टू दैट स्टेट. ओके, द थर्ड स्टेटमेंट इज दैट प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया मस्ट कंसल्ट टू द चीफ मिनिस्टर of the concerned state before making any appointment to the governor of that particular state. Now, what is the correct option for this question? So the correct option of the question number 5 is the D, means none of the above statement is correct. कोई भी statement जो है वो correct नहीं है. Now, for the explanation, as far as the governor is concerned, in the Indian Constitution, there are only two qualifications mentioned for the governor of a particular state. The first is that he should be the citizen of the India, and the second condition is he should have the age of the 35 year. Apart from that, there's no constitutional obligation regarding the appointment of the governor, but there are two conventions. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर जो दिए गए हैं these are mostly the convention. ये जो लिखा हुआ है the second one, that देखो first statement is it is the totally incorrect, that it is that the office of the constitutionally under the control of the subordinate to the central government, बिल्कुल नहीं है. The second statement की बात किया जाए तो governor of the particular state should not belong to that state. So this is not mentioned anywhere in the Constitution of India. It is just the convention. Okay, so it is just the convention. And next statement is that the President of India must consult the Chief Minister of the concerned state before making any appointment for the Governor of India. So this is also just a convention. ठीक. Okay, so the answer is none of the above. Now moving forward, the first question is that India is the largest consumer of the groundwater in the world. Okay, the second statement is that over the 60% of the districts in India are currently experiencing the groundwater depletion. The third statement is that the groundwater contamination is not significant issues in India. The fourth statement is that the government initiatives have successfully reversed the decline of the trending groundwater level in the country. Okay, now इसके बारे में बात किया जाए, so what is the correct option of this question? So the B is the correct option, means only the two options are correct. Okay, so the first statement is that the India is the largest consumer of the groundwater. As we know that in India, India is the largest consumer of the groundwater. Yeah, this is correct. And we consume or we extract 1/4 of the world's groundwater. Okay, so means हम लोग नियर अबाउट 25% जो ग्राउंड वाटर है उसको एक्सट्रैक्ट करते हैं, ओके, ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. सो दिस यू शुड नो. ठीक, So this, the first statement is correct, and most of the groundwater in India that we use is used mostly in the agriculture, for the agriculture purpose. Over the 60% of the district of India is currently experiencing the groundwater depletion. This is correct. The third statement is that the groundwater contamination is not a significant issue in India. Okay, so this is incorrect because it is the significant issue. The fourth statement is that the government initiatives have successfully reversed the decline of the trend in the groundwater depletion in the country. No, this is not. Although the government has taken many initiatives, but till now it is not reversed. So B is the correct option. Now moving forward, which of the following statement is true about the groundwater situation in India? Now again, the first statement is the groundwater level in India are declining at an alarming rate. Okay. The second is the India is the largest user of the groundwater in the world. The third statement is the groundwater is the major source of the drinking water for millions of Indians. Okay, so which one is the correct? So as you know, all the statements are correct. The conditions is declining, yes, and largest user, as I told you, 1/4 we extract, and is the major source of the drinking water for the millions of Indian. Now question number 3 is the Higgs boson is a subatomic particle. Okay, next statement is the discovery of the Higgs boson was announced in 2012. The third statement is that Higgs boson is responsible for giving other particles mass. The fourth statement is that the Higgs boson is an elementary particle with no electric charge. Fifth statement is the Higgs boson is an heaviest known elementary particle. ठीक, तो which one of the following is the correct one? So इसमें से बात किया जाए, so the C is the correct options, means 4 statement जो हैं out of 5 are correct, 1 is incorrect. Now which one is incorrect? The fifth one is incorrect. Higgs boson is the heaviest known elementary particle. ठीक है ना? So Higgs boson is not the heaviest known elementary particle. ठीक है? Top of the quark is the heaviest known elementary particle. You must have heard about the quarks. So quark is the heaviest known elementary particle, not the Higgs boson. So from here, the fifth one is the incorrect one. Okay. And Higgs boson is an elementary particle with no electric charge. ठीक है, ठीक, as stated in the fourth statement. ठीक, और Higgs boson also provide the mass to the other particles. तो जो भी particles हैं उसमें जो भी mass है वो Higgs boson provide करता है, and it is a subatomic particle and it was discovered in 2012. ठीक, under the observatory. ठीक है, so from here C is the correct option. Now question number 4 is that protons have a positive charge and located in the nucleus of an atom. Okay. Second is the electrons have a negative charge and are located outside the nucleus of an atom. Third is the neutrons have no charge and located in the nucleus of the atom. So from here C is the correct options, means all the statements are correct. As you know, this is a nucleus. If this is a nucleus, so there will be the protons and neutrons. Proton has the positive charge, neutron has neutral charge or no charge, and electrons revolve around outside the nucleus and they have the negative charge that is equivalent to the charge on the protons. Now moving forward, the first statement is with reference to the standard model of the particle physics, consider the following statement. Standard model of the particle physics. Take the first statement is that the standard model describes the fundamental particles and their interaction, including the gravity. The second statement is the standard model includes the 3 types of the quarks and 6 types of the leptons. Third statement is the standard model incorporates the Higgs bosons, which gives mass to the elementary particle. The fourth is then the standard model explains the phenomena of the dark matter. Now what is the correct option of this question? So the correct option of this question is only 1, means out of this 4 only 1 statement is correct. Now if you look at this statement first, it's stating that the standard model describes the fundamental particles and their interaction, including the gravity. Okay, so the thing is दैट जो भी स्टैंडर्ड मॉडल है इट डोंट इंक्लूड दी ग्रेविटी, ठीक। although the gravity is defined under the general theory of relativity, ठीक है। so as you know very well, gravity is defined under the general theory of relativity. It is not the part of the standard model, ठीक है, which describe only the fundamental particle. So hence the first statement is incorrect. The second statement is that the standard model includes the 3 types of the quarks and 6 type of the leptons. Now this statement is also incorrect because the standard model include 6 type of quark and 6 type of leptons. It's not 3 type of the quark, it is the 6 type of quark and 6 type of leptons. So from here the second is also incorrect. The third statement is that the standard model incorporates the Higgs boson, which gives the mass to the elementary particle. As you know, as I told you, that Higgs boson, it is a subatomic particle, ठीक, it gives mass to the rest of the particles. So that's why this statement is correct. And as I told you, the Higgs boson, it got discovered in 2012, ठीक, in the Large Hadron Collider, ठीक. And the fourth statement is also incorrect, that the standard model explains the phenomena of the dark matter, ठीक. So the phenomena of the dark matter is not explained by the standard model, ठीक. Although the dark matter is a hypothetical form of the matter that does not interact with the light, ठीक है. So dark matter don't react with the light or any form of the electromagnetic radiation, ठीक है. So this you should know. And if dark matter, the gravity of the dark matter is so much huge that even the light cannot pass through it, ठीक. So this you should know. Now moving forward, consider the following statement about the photon. Photons are the particles of the light that have the mass. Photons can be both the electrically charged and the neutral. Photons are always in the motions, and photons have a fixed wavelength frequency. Now, which is the correct option of the given question? So the correct option of the given question is B, means only 2 statements are correct, ठीक. The first statement says that the photons are the light particles that have the mass. This is incorrect because the photons are the massless particles. What is the photons? There is a formula E is equal to h nu. Photons are the energy particles, जैसे लाइट बनती है, ठीक है. So photons are the energy particles and they are the massless particles. So photons are the particles of the light that don't have the mass. It is the massless particles. They only have the energy and the momentum, but they don't have the mass. And energy, as you know, that energy is directly proportional to the frequency, or frequency is inversely proportional to wavelength. The next statement is that the photons can be both electrically charged and the neutral. Now this statement is also incorrect because the photons are the electrically neutral particles. They don't have the electric charge, ठीक है. So photons के पास कोई भी electric charge नहीं होता है. They are the electrically neutral particles. The third statement is that photons are always in the motion. Now this statement is correct because photons are the light particles, so they travel with the speed of light at the 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, means 3 lakh kilometer per second. Now the fourth statement is that photons have a fixed wavelength and the frequency. Now this statement is correct because they are the light particles, so they have the fixed wavelength and the frequency. Additional information, if you talk about the photons, basically hai kya? So these photons are the bosons. Photons are the bosons and they obey the Bose-Einstein statistics, ठीक. And photon interact with the matters through the electromagnetic force because they have the electromagnetic radiation. They don't have any sort of charge, and photon can be used to transmit the energy, information, momentum, okay. And photons are essential for many processes in the nature, such as the vision, photosynthesis, and the nuclear fission. And even in the total internal reflection, means if you talk about the fiber broadband, just you use fiber net. So anything which has the fiber use the light to transmit the data. So this you should know. So this is question number 6. Moving on to question number 7, it is about the International Energy Agency. Now the first statement is about the International Renewable Energy Agency. It was founded in 2009. The second statement is it is the first international organization to focus on exclusively on the renewable energy, and its headquarters is in the Masdar city in the Abu Dhabi. Now, which is the correct option? The C is the correct option. All the statements are correct. International Renewable Energy Agency, it is an intergovernmental organization, and it is the uh, office of the UN observer. So this you should know, and the headquarters is in the Masdar city in the Abu Dhabi, and this wholly focus on the renewable energy. Take, so this you should know. The second question is, consider the following statement about the Data Security Council in India. Now, the Data Security Council in India, it is a non-profit body. Okay. The second statement is it was set up by the MeitY, that is the Ministry of Information and Electronic Technology, Information Technology in 2008. The third statement is it is committed to making the cyberspace safe and secure in India. Now, which one of the following is the correct statement? So from here, the correct option is B, means two statements are correct. Now, which two statements are correct? Now, as you look on the first statement, it is the not-for-profit organization. Yeah, this is correct. It is not-for-profit organization. The second statement is it was set up by the MeitY in 2008. Now, this statement is partially correct because the DSCI, that is the Data Security Council of India, although it is set up in 2008, but it is not set up by the MeitY. Rather than it is set up by the NASCOM. Okay, so this statement become incorrect, and cause this talk about the security of the data, so hence it will definitely makes it is definitely being committed for the cyber security or security of a person. So the B is the correct option. Now, Indian Opinion, it is a newspaper. Who started it, or by whom it was started? So the correct option of the question number 9 is Mahatma Gandhi. So Indian Opinion, it is a newspaper, and this newspaper was started by the Mahatma Gandhi in 1903 in the South Africa. So when he was in South Africa as a lawyer, okay, so there he started this paper, and this paper served as the mass communication mechanism for the Natal Indian Congress. Now, what is it? As you know that in the South Africa, the Gandhiji fought for the apartheid movement. What is this apartheid movement? Discrimination based on the color, take, or racial discrimination. So Gandhiji fought for it. Okay, so this is the apartheid movement. Even the Nelson Mandela fought for it. Okay, so the correct option is the Mahatma Gandhi. Okay. The next question is about the optical fiber. Okay, which of the following statement is correct about the optical fiber? The first statement is the optical fiber is a type of wireless communication technology. Okay. Second is it is used for the electrical signals to transmit the data. Okay. The third statement is the optical fiber is made of glass. Okay. The fourth statement is it is used for exclusively in the short distance communication. Now, the answer of this question is A, means only statement 1 is correct. Now, as we look on the first statement saying it is a type of the wireless communication. As you know that all the 5G network, 6G network we are getting, or the geo broadband we have in our home, it is a wired communication. So optical fiber is used in the broadband, and it is a wired, not wireless. So the first statement is incorrect. The second statement says that the optical fiber uses the electrical signal to transmit the data. Now, this statement is again incorrect, because the optical fiber uses the light signal. Okay, the light signals, as I told you earlier also, when we were at the question of photon. So there I told you that photons are used for the optical purpose, means light is used for the optical purpose. So optical, even the optical meaning, the meaning of the optical itself is light. So that's why the optical uses the light signals, not the electrical signals. So the second statement is also incorrect. Third is that uh, the third statement is correct. The fourth is that optical fiber use exclusively the short distance communication. So not, this is not correct, because the optical fiber is both the short and the long distance. So only the third statement is correct. So A will be the correct option. Now moving forward, okay, this is it. So this was our last question. If you like the video, अगर आपको अच्छा लगा इसको like करें, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें, and you can share the video too. And if there's any feedback you want to say or any recommendation you want to say, you can just let me know in the comment section. Till then, take care, goodbye, thank you.